Earlier amount of cash what was there in the business was rupees 1 lakh, out of which they have purchased stock. One is printing and stationery, and the next one is cartage and coolie, and the next one is miscellaneous expenses. It provides accurate result, in the sense it provides correct results. The possibility of error is eliminated in the computerized accounting system. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. My dear students, we were discussing first PUC model question paper, that is 2021 and 22, and today we are in the second session. In today's session, we shall continue with section C. Already in our first session, we have discussed about section A as well as section B. In today's session, we shall continue with section C. And the section C is for how many marks? That is 6 marks. Okay. So, section C is for 6 marks. Now, go through these questions here. So, they have given in your model question paper, answer any 4 questions. Each question carries 6 marks. So, as I have already told you, the section C is for 6 marks where you have to answer any 4 of the questions. So, my dear students, as you know, this time your pattern have been changed, and out of 8 questions, you have to write any 4 questions for 6 marks. So, you have to answer any 4 questions out of 8 questions. Now, go through this question, that is your 21st question. Transactions of Mohan traders are given below. So, they have given certain transaction. Show the effects of these transactions on assets, liabilities and capital with the help of accounting equation. So, this was your question. Now, what is the accounting equation? So, assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. So, you know accounting equation is equal to, that is assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. So, this will be your accounting equation. Assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. Now, they have given just 3 transactions where you have to prepare or you have to write the accounting equation, and each transaction carries 2 marks here. Okay. Now, first transaction is business started with cash rupees 1 lakh, and the next one is cash purchase rupees 50,000, and the next one is cash sales of rupees 60,000. Now, we shall go through the solution directly. As I told you, they have asked you 3 transactions here. So, and the marks is for 6 marks. So, each transaction carries 2 marks here. Now, go through the solution. First, write the heading accounting equation. So, my dear students, in accountancy, presentation of your paper is very important. So, make sure that neatly you have to write the heading, draw the format neatly, and then write the solution. Okay. So, write the neat heading accounting equation. Next, make columns here, that is 3 columns. One is transaction. Next, I have taken it as assets and liability plus capital. So, this will be your accounting equation, that is assets is equal to liability plus capital. So, this is your accounting equation. Anyhow, we are going to write equals here. So, I have not written the equation, that is it's understood that the total of assets should be equal to total of liability and capital. Now, go through the first transaction. So, what is the first transaction? Business started with cash rupees 1 lakh. Now, who is the person here? Mohan traders, correct? So, we have taken the transactions from Mohan traders. So, he has started the business with what? Cash. Now, what is your journal entry? When cash is introduced into the business, cash account data to capital account, correct? So, Mohan traders have introduced cash into the business. Now, cash comes to the business. So, cash is what? It is an asset. So, write cash here first. Rupees 1 lakh. So, 1 lakh cash is being introduced into the business and cash is an asset. Because your journal entry is what? Cash account to capital account. So this is your journal entry, correct? So cash is an asset. So write in the asset side rupees 1 lakh. Now coming to the liabilities, there is no liability in this first transaction. So liability is 0. And coming to the capital. So capital has been introduced. So capital have increased. So increase in capital. So write rupees 1 lakh here. So there is a two effect here. One, cash increases rupees 1 lakh and cash is an asset. So write in the asset column. And next, capital also increases by rupees 1 lakh. So in your first transaction, the total of asset, that is 1 lakh, is equal to total of liability and capital, that is 0 plus 1 lakh. So both the side it is 1 lakh. So accounting equation in the sense, in each and every transaction, your both assets and liability plus capital should be equal. Now here it is 1 lakh and here also it is 1 lakh. Clear? So hope you are clear with the first transaction. Now coming to the second one, cash purchase rupees 50,000. Now first they have introduced cash into the business, that is rupees 1 lakh. Now out of that rupees 1 lakh, he has purchased goods, correct? So when he purchased goods, what happens? Stock increases, correct? So there is a increase in asset, that is stock. Now come to the second transaction. Earlier cash was rupees 1 lakh. So this is a transaction of earlier one. So cash was rupees 1 lakh. Now 1 lakh minus, because he has purchased goods worth rupees 50,000. So your cash decreases by rupees 50,000. So minus 50,000. So the total cash is now rupees 50,000. So 1 lakh was the earlier transaction. 1 lakh was the total cash with him, out of which he has purchased 50,000 worth goods. So minus 50,000. Now the amount of cash is 50,000. But the other effect is that one more asset increases, that is stock. So when you purchase goods or when you purchase stock, stock increases. So goods is termed as stock here. So stock increases, stock is an asset. So here now stock worth rupees 50,000 have increased. Okay, so there is a effect in asset itself, that is on one hand cash decreases by rupees 50,000 and on the other hand stock increases by rupees 50,000. Now 50,000 is cash and 50,000 is stock. So the total amount is how much? Rupees 1 lakh. Now coming to the liability, there is no effect in the liability as well as capital. Liability remains 0, whereas capital also remains 1 lakh itself. As that of previous transaction, there is no effect. So both the side it is 1 lakh and 1 lakh. Hope you are clear with this. Once again I will repeat. Earlier amount of cash what was there in the business was rupees 1 lakh, out of which they have purchased stock worth rupees 50,000. When they purchase, cash goes out from the business, so minus 50,000, so remaining cash is 50,000. But on the other hand, stock increases in the business because they have purchased the stock. So stock is an asset, so again add here plus 50,000, that is plus stock. So this is stock. So this is stock. Stock increases. So 50,000 plus 50,000, that is 1 lakh. So there on the other hand, liability and capital, there is no effect. Liability remains 0. Capital what was introduced, that is rupees 1 lakh, it also remains same. So both the side it tallies. Now coming to the next one, cash sale of rupees 60,000. So they have sold goods, sold stock. So stock was 50,000 earlier, but they have sold it for rupees 60,000. So stock was 50,000, but they have sold it for 60,000. So it means what? They have sold for profit, correct? So here profit of the business increases. So let us see how we have to write this accounting equation. So the third one, so earlier cash was 50,000, but they have sold those stock, but they have sold 50,000 worth stock for rupees 60,000, in the sense 60,000 worth cash comes into the business. So cash increases, so plus 60,000, so the total cash is rupees 1,10,000. Once again I'll repeat, 50,000 was a cash, but they have sold stock and they have got amount, they have got cash worth rupees 60,000. So 50,000 plus 60,000 will get 1,10,000. But here what happens? They have sold the stock, correct? Earlier stock was 50,000, but they have sold that 50,000 stock. So here stock is being sold. So minus 50,000. Now the value of stock is 0 because they have completely sold those stock. Whereas coming to the liability remains 0. Whereas capital. So what happens to capital? Capital was 1 lakh, but they have incurred a profit. They have gained a profit. So what was the profit? 50,000 stock was sold for 60,000. Correct? So there was a profit of how much? 10,000. So add that 10,000 to capital. So you will get 1,10,000. Now the current capital is how much? 1,10,000. 1 lakh was a capital, but 10,000 was a profit. So add both of them, you will get 1,10,000. Now if you see here, cash is 1,10,000, stock is 0. So 1,10,000 plus 0, you will get 1,10,000. Whereas in liability and capital, liability is 0, whereas capital have increased to 1,10,000. So both the side it is 1,10,000. So this is a 6 marks problem and each transaction carries 2 marks here. So 2 and 2 marks. So total 6 marks problem. Hope you are clear with the 21st problem. Now coming to the next one, prepare petty cash book from the following particulars under impressed system. So they have asked us to prepare an analytical petty cash book by using the impressed system. So they have given the transactions here. 1st July 2021, received cash from the main cashier, how much? 1,200. Next on 3rd, they have purchased stationery, 200. And the next one is on 6th, paid for charity, rupees 100. And on 7th, prepaid or paid for newspaper bill, that is 200. And the next one is 9th, paid coolie, that is 120. Now, what you have to remember here, what is petty cash book? So, the cash book where you are going to record all the small transactions. So, they are termed as what? Petty cash book. Now, what happens under impress system? Now, what do you mean by impress system? So, at the beginning of each month or at the beginning of a particular period, the main cashier will transfer some amount to the petty cashier. Now, there are 2 cashiers here. One is main cashier, other one is petty cashier. So, at the beginning of a particular period, so it may be month or it may be week or it may be on 2 weeks. So, on the beginning of each and every period, he will transfer some amount to the petty cashier. Now, what the petty cashier will do? Petty cashier will keep that amount. He has to make sure that by using that amount, he has to incur all the expenses of that particular month or of that particular period. Suppose if the main cashier has transferred rupees 1,000 to the petty cashier. So, petty cashier has to see through that using that 1,000, he has to incur all the expenses in that particular month. So, this system is known as what? Impressed system. Okay. Now, here, if you see the transactions now, the petty cashier have received cash from the main cashier rupees 1,200 on 1st July. Now, using this 1,200, petty cashier has to incur all these expenses. So, that we have to show in a petty cash book. Now, go through the solution directly here. Write the heading Analytical Petty Cash Book. So, as I told you, presentation of your answer is very important here. So, write a neat heading Analytical Petty Cash Book. Now, draw the columns here. Amount received, date, particulars, voucher number, amount paid. So, what are the columns you have to draw? One is amount received, date, particulars, voucher number, amount paid. Next column will be analysis of payment. So in this problem, you have to make 3 columns here. One is printing and stationery, and the next one is cartage and coolie, and the next one is miscellaneous expenses. So always remember, your analysis of payment column depends upon the problem. So what are the columns you have to draw here? So here I have taken only 3 columns where you can segregate all these expenses under printing and stationery, cartage and coolie, as well as miscellaneous expenses. Now coming to the first transaction, July 1st, 2021 received cash from the main cashier, that is rupees 1,200. Now how do you write? Write in the amount received column 1,200 and the date is July 1st. That is July 1st, he has received from the main cashier 1,200. So July 1st, 1,200 to balance brought down. So this is called as what? Impressed amount. So what is the impressed amount? 1,200. Now coming to the next one, rest of all the columns will be dash here because he has just received from the main cashier. So on the beginning of July, he has received from the main cashier, so that you have to write the amount in amount received column. Okay. Now coming to the next one, purchase stationery, that is on 3rd, that is rupees 200. So hereafter you are just going to directly write all the expenses. Okay. So July 3rd, buy stationery. Okay. So voucher number they have not given in the problem. So let it be dash here. Then write in the amount paid column 200 because stationery they have given rupees 200. Now all the amount paid have to be written here. Now coming to analysis of payment. Now stationery, where can we write stationery under analysis of payment? We have a column here, printing and stationery, right there. Then all the columns are dash. Okay. In the same way, next one, July 6 paid for charity rupees 100. Now once again come here, July 6 by charity, amount paid column 100. Now where do we record charity under analysis of payment? That is all the columns are dash. We shall write in miscellaneous expenses. Now coming to the next one, July 7th paid for newspaper bill, that is 200. So write July 7th by newspaper bill, voucher number is dash. Write the amount in amount paid column because he is going to incur that expense. So amount paid column. Now where the newspaper can be written under analysis of payment? So it can be written under printing and stationery. Rest all the columns are dash here. Now coming to the last entry, we have paid coolie, that is 120. So write the date 9th July by coolie. Write in amount paid column 120. Now where to record in analysis of payment? So we shall record under cartage and coolie. So this analysis of payment depends on you and it depends upon the problem that how you have to draw the column, that is under analysis of payment. Now we are done with all the transactions. So we have recorded all these transactions. Now, so we have to add amount paid column, that is 200, 100, 200 and 120. So the total is how much? 620. Okay. In the same way, all the analysis of payment column should be added. So here it is printing and stationery 400, cartage and coolie 120, miscellaneous expenses 100. Now if you add all these, you should get this 620. Okay. And if you add all these, you should get this 620. So 620 is common here. If you add all these expenses, you have to get 620. If you add all these individually, you have to get 620. In the sense, out of 1,200, petty cashier have spent 620 for his petty expenses. So out of 1,200, he has spent 620 for his petty expenses. Now what is the remaining? Remaining has to be carried down. Okay. So July 31st, that is end of that particular month, end of July. Here they have clearly given it is the month of July. So July 31st by balance carried down. Now how much is carried down? 580. Now how to calculate 580? That is 1,200 minus this 620, you will get 580. So this 580 you record here. Okay, so that 580 you have to record here. Now total both the side. So 620 plus carried down amount 580, you will get 1200 both the side. So write 1200 in amount paid column and 1200 in amount received column. But make sure that this 1200 has to be in the same line. Okay, or you can do one thing, write 1200 minus 620, you will get 580 as a balancing figure. So 580 has to be carried down to the next month beginning. So 580 is remaining in the hands of petty cashier. Now next month beginning, that is August 1st, to balance brought down. So whatever the amount we have carried down earlier, that amount we have to bring down here to balance brought down 580 and to cash account. Again, so this I have told you, this is a impress system where the main cashier is going to give the cash to the petty cashier. Now, in the first month he has given 1200, but petty cashier has spent only 620, remaining 580 is in the hands of petty cashier at the beginning of next month. So he will keep that 580 by himself. Again, in order to become 1200, how much amount the main cashier has to give to the petty cashier, so that at each and every month a fixed amount should be there in the hand of petty cashier, that is 1200. So he has to give the amount whatever he has spent. Correct? So to balance brought down the amount which is in the hands of petty cashier. So in order to make it 1200, again main cashier has to give 620 to the petty cashier. Okay, so whatever the amount he has spent, so that has to be written it back. Now in the hands of petty cashier, again he has 1200. So keeping that 1200, he will incur all the expenses of August. So this is how you are going to prepare the petty cash book, or we can also call it as analytical petty cash book. Hope you are clear with this 6 marks problem. Now coming to the next one, 23rd one, enter the following transactions in the sales book. Okay, so this is relating to a problem on subsidiary books, that is under recording of transactions 2. Now what you are going to record in your sales book? Always remember, you will record only the credit transactions. So you will record only credit transactions, that is credit sales, and it should be only credit sales of goods, not any other fixed asset. So this you have to remember here. Under sales book, we will record only credit transactions, and the second condition is that credit transaction should be only relating to goods. That is, credit sale of goods should be recorded in a sales book. Okay, so remember these two conditions, and it should be sale of goods. Okay, so under sales book it is sale of goods, under purchase book it is purchase of goods. Now go through the first transactions here. June 1st, 2021, sold goods to Aparna traders for rupees 10,000 at 10% trade discount. Okay, so first I'll read all the transactions, then we shall go through the solution here. Coming to the second one, June 3rd, sold goods to Rashmi traders of rupees 7,000 on credit. Next, June 11th, sold goods to Gagan and Company, rupees 8,000 on credit. Next, June 20th, sold old motor car to Harsha on credit for rupees 25,000. Next, June 25th, sold goods to Manu for rupees 5,000 at 5% trade discount. So these are the transactions they have given, and they have asked us to prepare sales book for 6 months. Now write the heading sales book. Okay, so first you have to know the format here. Under subsidiary books, first thing you have to remember is a format. Okay, now go through the format. Date, outward invoice number. Now how you have to remember whether it is inward invoice number or outward invoice number. Always remember, when you are selling goods, goods goes out from you. So just remember that. So it is outward invoice number because goods goes out from you. So outward invoice number. Next, under particulars, you will write name of the customer. Okay, so remember, you are going to sell the goods to your customer, so it should be name of the customer. Next, ledger folio, amount column. So what are the columns we have to record here? Date, outward invoice number, and a particulars, name of the customer, ledger folio, and amount. Now come to the first transaction. June 1st, 2021. As I told you, you have to remember these conditions. Okay. So sold goods, of course it is goods to Aparna traders for rupees 10,000 at 10% trade discount. So they have mentioned the name of the person and there is no word cash here. It means that it is a credit transaction. Okay. So sold goods to Aparna traders. Now how do you record in your sales book? So this transaction has to be recorded in sales book because it is sale of goods on credit basis. So write the date June 1st, 2021. So in few problem they'll give the invoice number, but in this problem they have not given. So no need to worry, let it be dash. Okay, so outward invoice number is dash. Now name of the customer. So who is the customer? Aparna traders. So write name of the customer, Aparna traders account. Now what is the cost of the goods? 10,000, but there is a discount, trade discount of 10%. So you have to minus that trade discount. So 10,000 less trade discount, that is 10,000 into 10 divided by 100, that is 10%. Correct? So 10,000 into 10%, so you'll get 1,000. So 10,000 minus 1,000, in the amount column it is 9,000. Hope you are clear with the first transaction. Now coming to the second one, June 3rd, sold goods. Of course it is goods here to Rashmi traders. So they have mentioned the name of that person. So it is on credit basis, rupees 7,000. And they have mentioned the word also credit. So we have to record this transaction. So June 3rd, Rashmi traders account, name of the customer, and they have directly given the amount 7,000. There is no trade discount here. No need to worry. Now coming to the next one, June 11, sold goods to Gagan. So it is goods and sold goods to Gagan and company, 8,000 on credit. They have mentioned the word credit here. So 8,000 on credit. So write the date, June 11, name of the customer is Gagan and company account, and there is no trade discount. Directly write the amount in outer column, that is 8,000. Now coming to the next one, June 20th, sold old motor car. Now here you have to be very careful. They are not selling the goods. They have sold an asset. So which is that asset? Motor car. Now whether we have to record this transaction? No. Why? Because it is a fixed asset. We will record only goods which is sold on credit basis under our sales book. So it is an asset. So no need to record. To Harsha on credit for rupees 25,000. So this transaction we will not record. But my dear students, make sure that you have to write a note for this transaction because they have given the transaction and it is for 6 marks. But you have to, you know that it is a fixed asset and you have not recorded it. But even your valuator has to know why you have not recorded it. So make sure that below your problem or below your solution, you have to write a neat note. Okay, so I'll tell you how to write the note. Okay, so time being, we are not going to record this in a sales book. Now coming to the next one, June 25th, sold goods to Manu for rupees 5,000 at 5% trade discount. Here also they have sold goods and they have sold on credit basis. We have to write the entry. So June 25th, write the name Manu account, that is 5,000, but we have a trade discount of 5%. So 5,000 into 5%, it is 250 because they have given it is 5% trade discount. So 5,000 into 5%, 250, 5,000 minus 250, it is 4,750. Now we are done with all the transactions. Now what you have to do? Simple, we have to write the total. So write total here, total all the amount and write here, that is 28,750. Clear? So this is how you are going to write or you are going to solve your problem on sales book. But I have clearly told you, you have to write a note on this June 20th transaction. So below that, right, that is after your solution, you have to write the note. Write the side heading note. Sold old motor car to Harsha on credit for rupees 25,000 on June 20th is not recorded in your sales book because it is a sale of fixed asset and it is recorded in the journal proper. So you have to write the reason. It's not that you have to write in the same way. You can write in your own words why you have not recorded that transaction in the sales book. So why we have not recorded? Because in sales book we will record only credit sale of goods, not any other fixed asset. So we will record such sale of fixed asset not in the sales book but in the journal proper. Okay, so this is a 6 marks problem, how you have to prepare the sales book. Okay, now coming to the next one. From the following particulars given below, prepare a trial balance as on 31st March 2021. Now, what do you mean by trial balance? It is a statement. So, it is a statement which is prepared in order to check the accuracy of the accounts. Correct? So, here they have given certain transactions and they are asking us to prepare the trial balance here. Now, go through this. So, we have purchase. So, just it is a simple problem where they have given all the transactions, they have given the amount, just we have to segregate into debit as well as credit. Now, purchases 95,000, sales 1,36,000, bank loan 20,000, machinery 50,000, cash 46,000, capital 1 lakh, debtors 80,000, creditors 17,000, bills receivable 4,000, bills payable 2,000. So, they have given all these items. We have to segregate into debit as well as credit to check the accuracy. And the total of debit should be equal to total of credit. Okay. So, first we have to see whether we have to record. Where we have to record, debit or credit. Purchases, debit. Okay. Sales, credit. Bank loan, credit. Machinery, debit because it is an asset. Cash, debit. Capital, credit. Debtors, debit. Creditors, credit. Bills receivable, debit. Bills payable, credit. So, let us see whether our trial balance or the total of debit as well as credit side is equal in our trial balance. So, how to write the solution? Trial balance as on 31st/3/2021. So, you have to make all these columns. You can't just write debit as well as credit and write the answer. You have to write this format here. Serial number, name of the accounts, ledger folio, debit balance and credit balance. Okay. So, first write everything in the same order what they have given. So, from 1 to 10, write the serial number and a particulars, that is under name of the account, write everything, and now we have to segregate the amount. So, purchases, I have told you it is a debit balance. Sales, it is a credit balance. Bank loan, credit. Next, machinery, debit. Cash, debit. Capital, credit. Debtors, debit. Creditors, credit. Bills receivable, debit. Bills payable, credit. So, we have recorded all the items as I have already identified here. Now, write the total of both the side. The total of debit side is 2,75,000 and the total of credit balance is 2,75,000. And both the side of your trial balance should be equal. That is, the total of debit should be equal to total of credit. So, this is how a easy problem for 6 marks where you have to just segregate your amount for debit as well as credit. Okay. So, hope you are clear with this. Next, coming to the next question, 25th question. From the following particulars, prepare a profit and loss account for the year ending 31st March 2021. So, they have given certain items and they are asking us to prepare profit and loss account. Okay. So, you know trading profit and loss account and balance sheet are the financial statement of the company, which we will prepare at the end of the financial year. Now, here also, or they have given certain items and they are asking just to prepare profit and loss account for 6 months. Okay. So, here also if you know the format of profit and loss account. So, how do we start with? We will start with gross profit or gross loss. Then we will take all the indirect expenses and indirect income and the balancing figure will be net profit or net loss. So that net profit or net loss will be transferred to the balance sheet at the end of the financial year. Okay. Now, gross profit, where do we record? So it is a gross profit we will record in the credit side of profit and loss account. Next, salaries. So it is an expense, we will record in the debit side. Next, rent and taxes, it is also an expense, debit side. Printing and stationery, it is also an expense, so debit side. Office lighting, it is also an expense, so debit side. General expenses, it is also an expense, debit side. Now we shall directly go through the solution. As I told you, write the heading profit and loss account for the year ending 31st March 2021, because they have asked us to prepare on 31st March 2021. So write the heading profit and loss account for the year ending 31st March 2021. Now, what is your format of profit and loss account? You'll be having debit as well as credit side. Under debit side, expenses or losses amount, and a credit side, a revenue or gain amount. Now, as I told you, gross profit will record in the credit side. So, start with gross profit. By gross profit brought down, that is 1,20,000. Next, everything we have to record in the debit side because these are all expenses. So, salaries 20,000, to salaries account 20,000. Next, to rent and rates 8,000. So, to rent and rates 8,000, to printing and stationery 600, and to office lighting 1,000. Next, to general expenses 600. So, we have written all the expenses. Now, we have to balance both the side. Now, how to balance? So, the total of credit side is 1,20,000. Correct? So, write this 1,20,000 here. But when compared to debit side, it is less. You will get a balancing figure. That is 1,20,000 minus 20,000 minus 8,000 minus 600 minus 1,000 minus 600. So, till here if you deduct all the amount, you will get a balancing figure of 89,800. So, since your credit side of your profit and loss account is greater than debit side, so what it is? It is net profit. It's not that always it should be only net profit, it can be net loss also. Suppose if your debit side was more than credit side, then it is net loss. Now in this problem, credit side is more than debit side, so it is net profit. So your balancing figure will be 89,800. So how do we write? To net profit transfer to balance sheet. So you just write that and end up your solution. So to net profit transfer to balance sheet 89,800, and the total both the side is 1,20,000. So you'll write 1,20,000 both the side, then minus everything, then you'll get the balancing figure 89,800. Hope you're clear how to prepare profit and loss account for 6 months. Okay, so you'll start with either gross profit or gross loss. Suppose it was gross loss, then you will write here to gross loss. Okay, now in this problem it is gross profit, you will write it as by gross profit brought down. Now coming to the 26th question, from the following information prepare a balance sheet as on 31st/3/2021. So they have given a certain items, that is certain particulars, where they are asking us to prepare the balance sheet. And you know about the balance sheet. So our balance sheet will be having both assets as well as liabilities, and both asset and liability should be equal. Okay. So first we shall segregate which are the items are assets and which are the items are liabilities. Okay. So capital, so it is a liability. Land and building, it is an asset. Furniture, asset. Cash in hand, asset. Sundry creditors, liability. Drawings, liability. Machinery, asset. Bills receivable, asset. Net profit, we will record in the liability side. Bank loan in the liability side. Okay, so they have given all these items. But while making the adjustment relating to capital, we have to be very careful. So how do we write? Capital. Under that, we have opening capital. Then, if there is any additional capital, add additional capital. Then, add net profit. Suppose it is net loss, then you have to minus. So add net profit, then minus drawings. So write everything, adjust everything in the inner column, then write the amount in the outer column. Okay, so this is relating to the capital adjustment. Now for this problem, let's see how we have to prepare the solution. So write the heading, balance sheet as on 31st March 2021. 31st/3/2021. So you know the format of balance sheet. So liabilities, amount, asset and amount. Now write all the assets together, that is in the asset side. Now go through this. Land and building we have 30,000. So I have taken here 30,000. Next furniture 20,000. Furniture 20,000. Next we have cash in hand. So cash in hand 10,000. Then machinery 20,000. So machinery I have taken 20,000. Next one more asset we have, that is bills receivable 5,000. So I have recorded all the assets. Now coming to the liabilities, capital we shall take later. Then we have sundry creditors, write that 10,000. Next bank loan we have 10,000. So take that 10,000. Now coming to the capital, as I told you, you have to make certain adjustment here. So what is the capital? Opening capital 70,000. There is no additional capital, so no need to take. Next we have net profit. So what is the net profit? 5,000. So add net profit. So the total is 75,000 and we have drawings also. So minus that drawings, that is 10,000. So 75,000 minus 10,000, outer column 65,000. Now add all the liability, your answer is 85,000, and add all the assets, you will get 85,000. Your both the side of the balance sheet should tally, that is the total of assets should be equal to total of liabilities. So this is a very easy 6 marks problem. Now coming to the 27th question here. From the following information, find out cash received from debtors. So they have asked us to prepare debtors account and we have to see what is the cash received from the debtors. Okay, so always remember opening debtors, that is debtors as on 1/4/2020. It means what? This is opening debtors. Okay, and debtors as on 31st/3/2021, that is closing debtors. Now, always opening debtors has to be recorded in the debit side and closing debtors in the credit side. Next, we have credit sales during the year, that is debit side. Next, we have bill accepted by the customer, credit side. Then sales returns, credit side, and bills receivable dishonored, that is debit side. So, just we have to segregate into debit as well as credit, and the balancing figure will be cash received from debtors. Okay, now come to the solution here. Write the heading total debtors account. So we have to prepare total debtors account. Then we have to identify what is the cash received from debtors. Now coming to the first one, that is debtors as on 1/4/2020. That is nothing but opening debtors. We'll record in the debit side 1/4/2020. And the format remains same. You will be having debit as well as credit side. Under debit side, date, particulars, ledger, folio, amount. And the credit side, date, particulars, ledger, folio and amount. Okay. Now coming here, we have 1/4/2020. That is opening debtors, how much? 17,000. To balance brought down 17,000. Next, debtors as on 31st/3/2021. We shall record later because it is closing debtors. Next, credit sales during the year. So write 2 credit sales, that is in the debit side 95,000. Next, bill accepted by customer, that is your credit side. So by bills receivable account, bill accepted by customer 15,000. Next, sales return, that is also credit side. So write by sales returns account 2,000. Next, bills receivable dishonored. So 2 bills receivable account, that is bills dishonored. If it is accepted, credit side. If it is dishonored, debit side. So 3,000. Now, next they have given closing datas, that is 31st-3/2021. Leave some space here because we want to write what is the cash received from debtors. So, 31st-3/2021 by balance carried down. So, they have given closing datas 25,500. Now, after this balancing figure will be cash received from debtors. Now add all the items in the debit side, you will get 1,15,000. But in the credit side, so 1,15,000 is greater, credit side is less than your debit side, and you will get a balancing figure of 72,500. Now this balancing figure, so this is a balancing figure. So this balancing figure will be cash received from debtors. So by cash account, cash received from debtors, and this is a balancing figure. Okay, so this is how you are going to prepare debtors account and see what is a cash received from debtors. Hope you are clear with this. You will record everything and the balancing figure will be cash received from debtors. So you will record it as by cash account. The balancing figure itself is cash received from debtors. Next, 1/4/2021, we shall wind up, we shall bring down the balance and wind up. So, by balance carried down, we have 25,500, that is closing debtors. So, write that to balance brought down 25,500. Hope you are clear with total debtors account. So, this is also a 6 marks problem. Next, coming to the 28th question, explain any 3 advantages and 3 limitations of computerized accounting system. So, we have to write any 3 advantages and any 3 limitations or disadvantages of computerized accounting system. So, write first advantages of computerized accounting system. So, advantages, first one is speed. Of course, we know computer work with more speed, right, or with a high speed it works. So, you can write the explanation in 2 to 3 lines here. Okay, accounting data is processed faster. So, we know that it or the data which is being fed into the computer. So, it will be processed faster in order to get the ultimate information. So, accounting data is processed faster by using the computerized accounting system. Computer requires less time in performing a task. So, when compared to manual, so in computer less time is required to perform number of tasks. And the second advantage is accuracy. Of course, whatever the information what we get from the computer, so it will be accurate. So, it will be perfect. So, it provides accurate result. In the sense, it provides correct results. The possibility of error is eliminated in the computerized accounting system. So, there is less possibility of errors or the mistakes. And the next advantage is up-to-date information. So, we can get up-to-date information here. The accounting records in a computerized accounting system are updated automatically. So, it's not like the manual. So, here the developments takes place automatically as and when accounting data is entered and stored. Therefore, latest information pertaining to accounts get reflected when accounting reports are produced and printed. So, here up-to-date information can be obtained through computerized accounting system. So, they have just asked 3 advantages. So, you can write 3 advantages. Now, coming to the limitations of computerized accounting system. So, you can write number of limitations here, but they have asked just 3. That is 3 advantages and 3 limitations for 6 months. So, the first one is cost of training. Of course, the cost of training which is being required in computerized accounting system is quite complicated because training has to be given. The sophisticated computerized accounting packages generally require specialized staff. So, it requires few knowledge about the computer. So, if a person does not have any knowledge, it is very difficult for him to operate. So, he should have some knowledge about the computer. As a result, a huge training costs are incurred in training the staffs in the use of hardware as well as software. So, in order to know about the hardware and software, a huge cost will be required in order to train the staff. And the next one is system failure. So there may be chances of system failure also, which ultimately leads to loss of information. The danger of the system crashing due to hardware failures and subsequent loss of work is a serious limitations of computerized accounting system. So you know about it. There may be a chances of crashes. So system crashes, which ultimately leads to loss of information or data. Thereby, it is a disadvantage. Next one is inability to check unanticipated errors. So since the computer lack capability to judge, so like a human being, computer cannot judge because it's just a machine, right? So whatever the data has been fed into the computer, so it will process the data and it will give the information. But there is less or there is no capability to judge. So here the computer cannot judge like the manual. So here lack of capability to judge, they cannot detect unanticipated error as human beings commit. So this is a limitation, serious limitations of computerized accounting system. So hope we have discussed all the 8 questions here. So we have discussed all the 8 questions, out of which you have to write any 4 here. So you have lot of options. You have 4 more options to answer. So make sure that out of 8 questions you have to write any 4, and all the model question paper, that is part C, have been discussed today. That is section C have been discussed today. All the 8 questions along with the answers. So my dear students, hope you have understood today's session. See you all in my next session with the section D. Till then, take care. Thank you.